Well, to another story we're following, President Obama sparking swift reaction following his immigration decree. Republicans voicing outrage. House Speaker John Boehner blasting the unilateral action, saying that President Obama is damaging the presidency itself. Well, Fox team coverage, Ed Henry on the president's road trip to rally support, and Mike Emanuel with the latest on Capitol Hill. And we begin with our favorite chief congressional correspondent, Mike Emanuel. So, Mike, what are some other concerns expressed by Speaker Boehner?
Well, Heather, thank you very much. Speaker Boehner essentially said that the concerns that we saw at our border last summer, the humanitarian crisis at the border last summer, could be worse next summer based on the president's actions. The speaker is promising that the House will respond, but clearly sounded frustrated.
With this action, the president has chosen to deliberately sabotage any chance of enacting bipartisan reforms that he claims to seek. And as I told the president yesterday, he's damaging the presidency itself.
Boehner says that the American people want both parties to work on the major problems facing our country, starting with the economy. And he says now the president is acting like an emperor. Heather?
So, Mike, are any Democrats unhappy with the president taking this action and going around Congress?
Well, the vast majority are supportive, but there are clearly some who have some discomfort with the president taking this action. Let's take a look at the number of Democrats and one independent who are opposed to this action, saying they wish he wouldn't do it, the president shouldn't make significant policy changes on his own, or they have concerns about constitutional separation of powers. But the top Senate Democrat is on board.
Republicans keep saying, give us more time. Give us more time. 511 days is enough time. We've given them this time, waiting patiently. But in the meantime, the four of us will support this historic step for family stability.
That 511 days reference is since the Senate passed bipartisan comprehensive immigration reform. Some folks up here on Capitol Hill are now saying this issue will be toxic for a long time. Heather?
All right, that list of Democrats appears to be increasing, though. Thank you very much, Mike Emanuel. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, announcing an immigration decree in Washington is, of course, one thing, but winning over the American public, that is quite another. And now President Obama is hitting the road as he looks to rally support for his controversial and unilateral plan. Chief White House correspondent Ed Henry is live from Washington, D.C. First of all, Ed, they made me say favorite, by the way.
Okay, because I thought Mike was, but okay.
Okay, so how difficult will this sales pitch be for the president?
I think it's an uphill battle for a number of reasons. You hear Mike talking about Republican leaders saying he's an emperor, and now as he goes to Las Vegas, speaking next hour at a school there to sort of lay out this plan again. The problem for the president is he has an increasing number of Democrats raising questions about it. Joe Donnelly of Indiana, Joe Manchin of West Virginia, putting out rough statements last night saying, yes, Republicans should act in Congress, but they think the president shouldn't have gone around Congress, something Josh Earnest picked up on this morning on Fox and Friends when he said, look, Republicans have failed to act. Listen.
The Speaker of the House was actually asked a question 2 or 3 days after the election. He was asked directly if he intended to bring up common sense bipartisan immigration reform in the next Congress, and he wouldn't even commit to doing that. If we can pass that piece of legislation, the president is ready to tear up the executive actions that he signed last night, sign that bill, and make that bill become law.
But we checked the transcript. The White House is not telling the whole story. Yes, right after the election, Speaker Boehner said he wanted to talk to his caucus before deciding how they'd move forward on immigration. He sort of hesitated. But then in the next sentence said, basically, it's time for Congress to deal with this, suggesting there will be action by Republicans in 2015, Heather.
But will it be the action that President Obama wants? That's the question. The president brought scripture into his speech last night. A lot of people talking about that. So apparently a leading 2016 contender did that as well?
Yeah, interesting that his former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton was tweeting her praise of the president's action and used similar words as he did at one point, saying our disagreements on Twitter, our disagreements on this important issue may grow heated at times, but I am confident the people of goodwill and good faith can yet find common ground. Interesting as well, because if you look, Democrats are really sending around some of the front pages from around the country. You see La Opinión there, Si Se Pudo, Yes We Could. Also, the San Antonio Express-News, president reaching out to 5 million immigrants, as well as El Nuevo, millions, Evitan la Deportación, sort of suggesting, look, all these millions of people are avoiding deportation. Bottom line is what the White House believes is they may take take a hit in the short term on this use of executive power, but long term, Democrats are reaching out to Hispanics. Heather.
All right. Ed Henry, also my favorite chief White House correspondent. Thank you.
Thanks.